an argument, an embarrassment, a comparison. You entertain it. 5 minutes pass. 10. Your focus fractures. You blame discipline, but discipline did not fail. Your boundaries did. You allowed intrusion. If a stranger walked into your house uninvited, you would remove them. But when intrusive thoughts walk into your mind, you offer them a chair.
Okay, when it speaks about the heart, we know it's talking about the mind. And everything starts with the mind. Okay? What you allow your mind to dwell on, what you allow things to affect you, it starts up here. You know, and that leads into your actions, things that you do. You know, the words that you say and the things that you do. You know, and we can't allow those things to throw us off our course, man.
You feed them attention. Attention is nourishment. Starve them. There is a difference between awareness and attachment. You can notice doubt without becoming doubt. You can observe criticism without embodying it. You can see competition without feeling threatened by it. But you lack detachment. So every thought becomes identity. That is weakness. The strongest individuals are not those without distraction. They are those who treat distraction as irrelevant.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem HaKadosh, no honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Honors and salutations to the hopeful elect, which is word, truth, sincerity. Or this is brother Tawab Bakah out here in GMS Inland Empire / LA, right? And then today, what I want to get into it is pre-workout. It's about, you know, the mindset, man. We gotta have in this truth, man. You know, there's a lot of, you know, spirits on these individuals in this world that's going to try to get you out of your character, that's going to try to rattle you, okay? You're going to have people out here with their opinions and their you know, their beliefs and how, you know, how we should move, how we should think, and how we should behave ourselves in this world. And none of that shit should matter, man. None of those things should be a thing that we start to use to direct our paths. You know, that's why we have the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures is our navigation, okay? And that's how we have to operate, man. We can't let the ways of this world and all this outside bullshit, you know, deter us from our mission, man. You know, to get us to redirect, you know. We gotta stay on that path that the Lord has put us on, man. Okay? Just like when you driving somewhere, you know, you put a destination in, you know, you gotta get to that destination. You know, you can't allow, you know, these use that phrase, that road rage, okay, these assholes out here redirect you from your destination, man. Because that's what these people are, these demons are out here set up to do. They out here to try to get you, to distract you, to keep you from reaching your destination. And what's the destination? The kingdom of heaven. You know? So I'm just gonna bring out this quick scripture, and Lord willing, this is edifying to sincere brothers as well as you few sisters. Okay? This is Luke chapter 21, verse 34. It says, "And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with suffering and drunkenness." Okay, when it speaks about the heart, we know it's talking about the mind. And everything starts with the mind. Okay? What you allow your mind to dwell on, what you allow things to affect you, it starts up here. You know, and that leads into your actions, things that you do. You know, the words that you say and the things that you do. You know, and we can't allow those things to throw us off our course, man. You know, because yeah, we're in the flesh. We brothers ain't perfect. You know, there's gonna be times where you're gonna be angry, right? You're gonna be flustered, right? Because the scriptures speak about that, man. Surely your oppression make a wise man mad. But the scriptures also say, be angry and sin not. Okay? So we just can't lash out and do whatever the fuck we want to do because, you know, we all riled up, you know? That's what that's the tempter's job, man. You're going to be tempted. You're going to be tried, man. And we got to constantly remember that, man. You know, that's why we got to be in these scriptures. All right, it says, and take heed to yourselves lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with suffering. And that word suffering, when you look it up, means excessive. Anything that's done excessively is not good. You know, it leads to problems, man. You know, anything that's, especially when it comes to the flesh, man. You know, when you look at these different celebrities, what do they do excessively? They do drugs, right? You know, drinking excessively, and that all leads to bitterness of the mind. You know, that's why a lot of these individuals end up committing suicide, man. You know, because they're not seeking help from the right places, man. They're running to the pleasure of the flesh. And once the pleasure of the flesh, once they max that out, they're totally destroyed. You know, but us in this truth, we got the scriptures. You know, we got the name. First and foremost, we got the name of Yahweh Shemiel Shai. We got the brotherhood, right? So we have things that we can use to fight those bad spirit off, man. Fight these demons off, man. We just got to apply them and use them. All right, it says, and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares, right? And the cares of this life, that's the main thing. You know, letting all these worries, you know, the scriptures speak about that in the Apocrypha, man. You know, about those mortal thoughts, you know, and we all get them, you know. That's why these scriptures are written. They're not just written for no reason. They're written here because these are things that we're going to experience in our lifetime. These are things that we're going to deal with on a regular basis. Okay? You think, brothers, when we come out here and we preach this word, you know, we don't go to our bed sometimes at night and have thoughts, worrisome thoughts about things? Of course we do. The men of the Lord in the past had those thoughts. You know, hey, Yahweh Shai, before he was put on the cross in the Garden of Gethsemane, he prayed to the Father. It'd be another way. So obviously it was on his mind, right? But at the end of the day, what did the Lord do? He ended up doing it anyway. He ended up being a sacrifice. So it's likewise with us. You know, wherever it's in our path, we have to go through it, man. Like the brother Martha Zach says, wherever comes in your path becomes your path, man. You know? All right, finish it off. It says, and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares, for as a snare shall come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. You see, and these people out here, they don't know what the hell is going on. 2/3 of our people, they still in la la land, man. You know, but when all hell breaks loose, it's gonna be too late. It's gonna be too late to try to turn back to the Lord. It's gonna be too late to try to get right, man. This is the time. This is the grace period, man, to get our act together, man. You know, so the point of me doing this is don't let nothing in this world. Don't let these demons. Don't let your mind, wherever you're dealing with in your mind. Don't let all these things throw you off your path to that destination, man, which is the kingdom, man. Because that's what we all fighting for. That's why we do what we do. You know, we're not doing this for no reason, man. We're not doing this in vain. Okay? So yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I said, I pray this is edifying to you sincere brothers and as well as you few sisters out there. Stay strong, keep fighting. We're almost out here. So with that, I'm going to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakadash. No honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Honors and salutations to the hopeful elect. Push his word to sincerity. Shalom.